No more oppression. We, as American adults with free will, have the right to use marijuana if we choose to. Enough government profiteering under the guise of morality. Enough with this phony war on drugs. No more oppression.
It's a way of feeling good. Every kid needs a bowl of...
Me at 6 years old.
Did that annoy you? Did you have an expectation for this video that turned out to be immediately wrong? I'm gonna take a guess and say that if that intro left you in a lingering state of agitation, you're probably not a cat person. What's up, dude? Welcome to the video. Today we're gonna be talking about cats and jazz, and we do not have a camera on the notepad today. Personally, I just didn't really think it was necessary. Now, I like to think that there's a lot of things that I appreciate about life, lots of silly or perhaps just small things that I enjoy, but among those, two that I think are particularly fantastic are cats and jazz. Only after I spent some time thinking about it did I realize how many similarities there are between the two subjects. So many similarities, in fact, that they almost become synonymous with one another. They're both fantastic examples of chaos and order dwelling under the cover of night. They remain wide awake while the rest of the world obeys the orders of the sun. Both figures exhibit like this grunge, but also this elegance to the highest degree on both sides of the pendulum, and they leave rational fools wondering if an imperfection was a mistake or a deliberate mockery of what you were expecting to see. And a smart person wouldn't correct them, because when you exist in their world, you have the choice to either flow with what they've got going on or go away from it. But I will let you in on a secret, and it's that they don't care what you do. So why is this so interesting to me? It seems like kind of an obscure topic for a video, I realize that, but I think the reason I find it so interesting is because so many people hate them. And oftentimes, I find that when something is worth attracting that much distaste from that many people, there's a really solid chance that it's actually good. That logic cannot be applied to everything that people don't like, but for a lot of stuff, more obscure stuff, it definitely works. I've also noticed that the people that tend to not like jazz or cats have something I like to call a master of the universe complex. They're very strong-willed, authoritarian types. They probably own a yellow lab, and this obviously does not apply to all owners of yellow labs, but for the people that gauge themselves towards, authority and control, a yellow lab seems like a really good fit because of how obedient of a dog they are. It's a little bit of a not all people with mustaches are pedophiles, but most pedophiles have a mustache. Like, it's kind of like that. Now, unfortunately for them, I think those types of people could stand to learn a lot from cats and jazz. But the most primary lesson I'd say that they could learn is to flow, to kind of go with the current sometimes. In the same way that listening to jazz music or owning cats requires you to kind of adapt and pivot based off of the stimulus that they're providing you. For example, jazz is a lot of this. There's so much shifting of energy, shifting of vibes within the music. It gets loud and then it gets quiet, and you have to kind of follow along with that. Similarly with cats, you have this expectation that you're going to have a small, well-behaved animal, and the reality is that cats don't care about your logical reasoning for any given thing. You can tell them, don't knock over grandma's urn and send her ashes all over the floor, but that means nothing to them, and they won't care. They won't listen if you try to teach them that. Whereas a dog, you can kind of inflict some type of negative reinforcement when going into an area they're not supposed to, or positive reinforcement for coming out of an area that they're not supposed to be in. With cats, it doesn't matter at all. Much like cats and jazz, life has so little regard for what your plans or your intentions are. You really, you have a comically small amount of power within your own life. And very often, or perhaps just often for me, life looks at my plans and takes a shit on them. That's the way it is sometimes. You can't really complain about it because there's nothing that can be done. However, unlike cats and jazz, the problems and tribulations and unpredictable circumstances that life is going to provide you are completely unavoidable. If you don't want the problems or the irritation that you may find when listening to cats or owning when listening to cats or owning jazz, when listening to jazz or owning cats, you can simply not listen to jazz. You can simply not own a cat. It's not mandatory that you do these things. I guess, there's also an option for people that want to opt out of life. But I think diving deeper into that topic might present some red flags for this video that I'm not looking to get into. However, for those of us who choose to stick around despite all the terrible circumstances, you'll quickly find that there's nothing you can do. Even for people with perfect planning, they're very analytical, they can come up with all the problems and, play damage control and prevent those problems before they ever even happen. Very often, a problem that they didn't predict will come right in their face. Whoa. Let me rewind. A problem they didn't predict will present itself, and there will be nothing they can do to stop it. That's just the way that it is. Now, I don't want this to get lost in translation, because I'm not saying that you should be, passive or complacent. To do that is to do nothing, which will gain you nothing. You will not learn anything. You will not have any new experiences. There will be absolutely nothing to gain from doing nothing. That would seem obvious, but it's worth pointing out. Instead, I'm suggesting that you allow yourself to flow with these circumstances, these awful, terrible, completely unpredictable things. They require you to adapt, to overcome. As played out as that saying is, I think it's applicable here. And I want to point out that flowing and adapting and overcoming is not doing nothing. Not at all. That is an action. And sometimes it's one of the most important actions you can make, one of the very best. With, of course, adapt and pivot being the operative words. Because to just flow through something, to just kind of be unbothered and change nothing and learn nothing is, like I said earlier, to do nothing. So adapt and pivot are definitely the operative words there. For the section of audience members that do like cats and listen to jazz, this probably resonates with you. But the rest should consider from time to time taking a step back away from the wheel and accepting that which you cannot control, which is absolutely so difficult. As difficult as it is for a passive person to learn to adapt and overcome, it is just as difficult for someone who is hell-bent on controlling the ship to step away and to just, sometimes accept that there's literally nothing you can do except for learn how you can prevent those circumstances better in the future. Those circumstances can obviously be difficult, but I truly think it's important to absorb the lessons you are about to unwillingly be taught. If not, and you don't want to do that, you can go through the same shit again. It's completely up to you, but I suggest against it. Also, consider listening to jazz from time to time. I'm telling you, it is some of the best music you will ever listen to as long as you can open your mind to hear it. It is so raw and it's emotional, and it doesn't follow the typical musical guidelines, which, don't get me wrong, those guidelines breed a plethora of extremely not only culturally valuable songs, but independently emotionally valuable songs. The formula for that is, it reaps decent rewards. But if you can learn to take a step back away from that and listen to something that is a little bit harder to understand, you'll find so many things about it that you love. I can almost guarantee it. For me, one of the things I love most about jazz is when a trumpet player or a saxophone player is at like the bottom of their lung capacity. They're just about to run out of breath, and you can hear in the reed how wispy and just like the spit that is bouncing around. You can hear it. You can hear the buzz of that. I love that sound because it demonstrates to me that the player of the instrument is really contributing the most that they can to that part. And I just think it's so beautiful. But that's besides the point. I could have a whole video talking about jazz and why I like it, but I won't. If you did enjoy this video, consider subscribing. Consider liking the video. Consider leaving a comment or something. Whatever YouTubers say at this end part, I'm not very good at it yet, but I'll get it figured out. I'll put my socials on the bottom here. And about now or here in a few seconds, there'll be another video from my channel popping up. You should go watch that one too if you haven't. I hope you found that this video was edifying or thought-provoking or even annoying. I just hope it made you feel some type of way. And I'm not sure that outro is going to stick. I've been using it because I like it and I think it's true, but it's a little long-winded, so we're going to see about that one. For now, that's what I'm using. I will see you next time I decide to upload.